Underlay. What it is, what it was, and what it shall be. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. And today is Helios Deity Day, Sunday, February the 6th, 2022. And the time is 1:15 Central. As always, brothers and sisters, got a powerful message. We're going to jump right in today. I want to talk about really energy. Sorry about that. Scarcity, energy, imprinting. And basically, the best way of saying this is how to train your brain to override scarcity. That's a feeling that we have. That we need to do more, get more, have more, be more, blanky, blank, blank. So today we want to really break this down and get into the psychology behind, what is called cellular up-regulation. The ability for you and I to understand that we create, or there exist many different types of waves that take on form and become a being. And these are waveform beings. We create them every day through our cosmic contracts, which create our celestial contact, which results in our terrestrial control. We do this every day. We need to define very succinctly scarcity. But before we really get into scarcity, we've got to define succinctly energy and imprinting. Because energy is really emotions. Emotions are really electricity and magnetism that controls our ocean. So our water balance, our pH balance goes up and down based upon the amount of energy and electricity that's introduced into the system through what you and I call thoughts. And so we have to be able to learn how to remove negative energy blocks or negative energy patterns or that have been imprinted onto the soul. Now, imprinting is not only a biological, but is also a psychological as well as a theological or cosmological event. So when we talk about imprinting, it's a way by which we are able to rapidly affect someone's behavior by putting something on top. It's like printing the I am. And there are really there's many different ways of imprinting a soul, like sexual imprinting, and, we've talked about imprinting a lot. Today we're really focusing on the lymphatic imprinting versus mental, psychological, sexual imprinting. So imprinting is just a way by which we are able to basically leave our mark, if we want to use that term, or put a lifelong effect that leads to a specific change in the way that people process or identify information. Now, if you can wrap your brain around that statement, then that it really shows why we are all in the predicament that we are in. Because there's a lot of negative habit patterns that have been imprinted into your limbic system and your lymph nodes. So there are, we are musical beings. There are 9 notes that create everything that you see in existence. Only 9. I love the way, Dr. Leonard Horowitz breaks this down when we talk about, the love frequency of 528 and how all music has been manipulated to affect the limbic system and to limit your psychological development. So that way your frontal lobe, your forebrain, the neo brain has difficulty connecting with source because it's on a different frequency by design. It's not an accident. The whole world is designed to keep you from your shine. Everything on earth, there is nothing that you are doing and having that is benevolent as far as connecting you back to the original creator of all creators. No thing. And because of that inability for us to connect with source, that is why we have this feeling This feeling that, oh shit, I need to do something else. I need more. Get, have. I'm going to lose. That scarcity feeling, that is a energy, and remember the word energy simply means entity. That is an entity that has imprinted onto your limbic system or your soul. Now, this imprinting is the way by which they attack. It's like a mind virus or a MIM. And the only way for this to be as effective as it is if we do not understand this on a subatomic or a unconscious level. And what is it that we need to understand? Well, we need to understand that when we talk about imprinting, we're talking about creating an emotional structure that overrides your spiritual one. So this is very difficult for most people to be conscious of or even aware of. And when I talk to people who are in Groundhog's Day, most don't even know they're in Groundhog's Day. They don't even know that they are not connected to source. Like the people who are the most fanatic, that are the most, dogmatic, usually are the most deceived in a lot of instances because of this negative energy or emotional impression that has left a scar that makes you scared. So scars create scarcity. So the more scars that you have, the more scarcity or the more scared that you are. And once we understand that these scars, they create scarcity, we can start to heal these wounds that the scars have left. Now, I grew up in a rough environment mentally and psychologically, physically as well, but more so for me mentally. And so these scars created my scarcity. And because I have a lot or had a lot of scars, that resulted in a lot of scarcity. So it's very important because life is not about the role. Or should I say the goal? It's about the role. Meaning, this is not about getting money. The object of the game is not the money. The object of the game is the journey. And because we have so many emotional scars, we have a lot of emotional scares. Every time we get emotional, then it's because of a scar that someone touched with an emotional act, meaning something reminds you of the scar that was left on you. Now, this shit is way deeper than most would understand because it's a limbic system scar. It's not a physical scar. And so your limbic system has these scars on it because of the wars that you've been through. All of these emotional battles that you have been through, these have created all of these scars. So all of these emotional wars, they create psychological scars. And these emotional wars that have created all that, because remember, we've got to lay the foundation before we get to the solution. Because most people I talk to, they don't even know because they do like I do. This is how I know. Like, I'm able to departmentalize and put it in the box and put it away for a later date. So these emotional wars that we have create these psychological scars. And these psychological scars, are so deep that they create what you and I call feelings. And these feelings that we have are the result of all of the emotions that we went through, especially as a child. So we carry these emotions into our adult life, and now the emotions, they come out when we have certain experiences that create feelings. So these emotional wars that we fought when we were children, they create psychological scars that create this entity or this energy of scarcity. So it's extremely important, Buster, that you understand this, because before we get to the solution, scars create scarcity. There is no scarcity. Everybody has unlimited wealth, health, wisdom, and relationship. We all do. So where's it at? If everybody, come on, man, let's be for real. This is not no psychological, warm fuzzy. I don't got time for that. I got bills. I got things. I got shit to do. And so you can't do nothing because there's an underlying feeling that is sabotaging all of your psychological or your cognitive success. So we could sit there and we could do mantras. You could diet, you could exercise, but underneath everything that you're doing, there's a scar. That shit happened to you when you was a child. Probably. That scar has just been buried in your limbic system. Now, the whole world is created by 9 limbic systems, if you want to use that term. And the limbic systems are frequencies. So you don't have to know the numbers. We can get into the numbers, but that just gets confusing, and people try to remember, like when I did the series way back when we broke down all of these numbers. 432, 345, 528, all of these. Every emotion has a numerical equivalent. Your job is you don't have to get into all of that. You can if you want to. At the end of the day, you have a feeling, and it's undetected. Why is it undetected? So the word unconscious means below the threshold of detection. So you walking around and you're happy in your head, but you're sad in your body. I can tell. Look at your body. Then now, some people are smart like me. I've learned how to be happy in my body and happy in my head, but I'm depressed in my soul or my limbic system. So emotional imprinting is this inability for us to understand the importance of a significant emotional event because we are experiencing what is called memory triggers. So if you have memories, and we all do, if I could hook you up to some type of an EKG machine or an EGG machine, it would register. And your brain would light up because you're having a memory that is triggering an emotional response. But you have the memory because let's say you watch a movie. Ladies, y'all watch Lifetime movies and you sit there with your, Haagen-Dazs ice cream. You eat the whole gallon of ice cream while you're crying because, Jim Bob passed away. And, you love Jim Bob. And now Jim Bob is not here anymore. So what you're doing is you are re-imprinting. And this goes on every day. This is what is called a cluster of beliefs that is below the threshold of your ability to detect. And could you imagine that? This is why, man, I see these people, like on Facebook and everywhere they be posted up. It's the anniversary of their daughter's death, or even with what I do when I try to talk to my children about it. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging it, but how are you feeling it? See, we don't, man, like I said when I started, this is so sad because I really know what the problem is, but I can't go in your head and remove those scars. I can tell you that they're there. You're going to lie to me because you don't even know they're there. You lied to yourself. Now, you've done that. Your ego did that to protect your spirit. So your reticular activating system is actually protecting you. If I was to rip that scar off and just let the flood of emotions that you buried from your past, it would cost you your ass and your cash. So it's therefore a good reason. That was a significant emotional event that took place in your life. And whether you know that event or not, it was that, because that's why you have this emotional imprint. Now, remember, the word emotion is the word for energy. And these early life emotional injuries, because that's really what they were, they imprint on the reptilian brain with a survival mechanism. Now, we call that survival mechanism scarcity. Scarcity is a feeling that something is about to go wrong. Scarcity is a feeling that I'm about to lose. Scarcity is a feeling that I ain't got enough. Scarcity is a feeling that detaches you from the role, and it attaches you to what is called a latchment. So attachment and latchment. So you latch on to old energy that doesn't work instead of attaching to the role that does work. Now, the solution is very simple. The solution is these 7 steps I'm going to tell you. Really, we're going to go through the process of what I do. Anytime I'm feeling scarcity. Because remember, brothers and sisters, the solution is very simple. Then I got to go back to the problem and explain it to you again, because you see, we don't understand the problem, because you think that the journey is the reward, because the journey is the reward, but we don't know what that means. Because if you knew what that means, your journey would be different. See, it's not the money, it's the journey. See, when I was all about money, man. I was trying to get money because I had bills. I didn't know. So the way that I was making my money, working 3 jobs a day, that shit sucked. I mean, y'all have no idea. Sleeping in the freaking parking lot of the post office in between jobs because I needed money. And I was willing to do anything to get money, because that's what all the gurus told me. I needed to get, that's the immediate problem I had was money. I didn't know the problem I had was journey. It was not money. You ain't got a money problem. You got a journey problem. Journey means that your day-to-day operations, you have not mastered. You're not adding. In other words, you're not getting attention and adding value. Why? You don't want no attention. Why? This is what I talk to, especially the women. Women don't want to post their pictures and their images on Facebook. Why? They are ashamed of the journey. Most women hide behind something that's, this ain't real, it's make-believe. Because of the lymphatic system has been flooded with scarcity. Now, going all the way back to the beginning, before I give you these 7 keys, or these 7 things that I do, every time I start feeling like, damn, I need to do something right now. Every time I start feeling like, oh shit, something's bad about to happen. Every time I start feeling like, oh shit, I need to, I gotta make some more sales, man. Every time I start feeling like I need more money. Every time I gotta do something. Every time I get scared, I get scared, man. I get nervous. See, y'all don't know if y'all understand, man. If you understood, like, you should see if people look at how much money I make, you should look at how many bills I got. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, look, this is how simple it is. What if I just looked at how many bills I got every day? And what if I did not look at and focus on the money that I'm bringing in versus the bill that's going out? That's how easy it is. I would be bankrupt in about 2 weeks if I just looked at the problems? What if I just thought about the fact that my daughter Shamura is not here? What if I did not think about the fact that my daughter Shamura is going on in another frequency wave of vibration? What if I operated in scarcity? And what if I was scared? What if I was scarred? So a imprint is a scar. But the scar is on your soul. It's in your lymphatic system. A imprint is a memory of a specific period of your life that formed a belief cluster. That's my term instead of using the biological term. That is always incomplete. Meaning it's always below the threshold of your detection, but it always results in a specific physical manifestation. The specific physical manifestation is lack. It's always there. I don't care how much money you make, you always suffer. Because you're always ordering. Because you're always reprinting. You're always re-imprinting. How? How am I re-imprinting? Because you never address that negative habit pattern, that energy imprint, that emotional scar that brings about a feeling of a cluster of generational belief that's been passed down from your ancestors and from your events. Now, again, before we move on to the solution, I need to make sure that everybody is crystal clear on the problem. This is called a latchment instead of attachment. So a lot of people are talking about, emotional detachment disorder or emotional attachment disorder in psychology, but nobody or very few people are talking about latch. L-A-T-C-H, latchment. A lot of people have an emotional latchment. That's an emotional imprint. It's like remember, this shit is sexual too. It's psychological. These are emotional imprinting, which is nothing but emotional transferring. It's an emotional transference because an emotion is an entity. So the entity is transferred, and the entity is the entity of lack. So now we have to deal with scarcity. There's a scarcity energy imprint. Scarcity has been imprinted into your soul. And that scarcity is below the threshold of your detection. But it always shows up in the form of you feel upset for no reason. You feel anxious for no reason. You feel disturbed for no reason. You feel restless for no reason. You develop like little aches and pains for no reason. You are really, 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 really recluse for no reason. You don't like meeting new people for no reason. And small things affect you negatively for no reason. Like you go off, but you don't go off verbally. Remember, all the stuff that you do is internally. It's all because remember, the limbic brain is the part of the brain that controls all your memories and all of your feelings. And so the brain stem that's connected to the limbic system, that controls your ANS or your automatic nervous system. So since the limbic system is connected to the brain stem, now remember the limbic system, the brain stem, and the neocortical or the neocortex, which is part of the frontal lobe or the thinking brain. These are the three brains. But the three brains, they disconnect. So the paleo brain and the reptilian brain disconnect from the neo brain. And so now you have memories and feelings that automatically repeat themselves because you cannot take in new information to override. That is the imprint of stress that causes you to have less. So scarcity is the energy imprint of stress. And stress, that's what causes you to have less. So the stress is caused by survival. And survival is caused by uncertainty. So if you grew up in an environment like I did where there was things were uncertain, you had an uncertain childhood, you couldn't see shit for 10 years. If you moved a lot, that was a lot of other, even as an adult, if you were at a job and let's say it's sales related, that job gives you a feeling of uncertainty. If you're in a relationship and, homie ain't put a ring on it or whatever makes you certain and that hasn't happened in your relationship, then you have a feeling of uncertainty. It is this feeling of uncertainty that limits the emotional energy or what I call the flow state. So now you have pressure and that creates blockage. So anything that limits the flow state again is a knowing state. You know, so that way you can flow. So if you don't know, you can't flow. So if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, what happens? So the dominant culture does what? Well, we don't know. There's a new variant coming out. Oh, man, we don't know what's going on. So the dominant culture makes sure you never know. So when you die, what happens? Nobody knows. Is Jesus Lord or Muhammad's Lord? What happens when we die? Nobody knows. What's going to happen next week? Nobody knows. People tell you can walk out your house right now, bro, you get hit by a bolt of lightning, you could die. That's true. So nobody knows. So since you don't know, you can't grow. So the emotional charge that creates the emotional flow, this is called your EFR, your emotional flow rate. This is the electrical charge that is produced that gives you what I call chi. So your chi is a voltage. This voltage is activated when you are in a state of certainty. That's why a lot of people have low voltage because they cannot create a journey of certainty, not a destination. The destination is uncertain, but the journey is certain. What is the journey? Who controls your day-to-day activities? You do. Who controls the thoughts that create the day-to-day activities? You do. So you control the journey. You don't control the destination. So now that I think we have at least a basic understanding of emotional imprinting, energy imprinting that creates lack, all problems of lack, we call that scarcity. It is the architect, and meaning that you have a blueprint. You have an emotional blueprint. It is an emotional structure that has formed over the experiences of your life and what you've been taught by the people in your life. Now that is a structure. This is the inside of the limbic system. Your limbic system now has a structure that creates a feeling. That feeling is one of, man, I'm concerned. Remember, we don't use the word fear anymore because everybody's high vibration like Kibelons now. It's not a feeling of infinite potential. It's not a feeling of inner peace. So if the feeling you have is not a feeling of unlimited, infinite energy and potential and unlimited inner peace, then you have below the threshold of your detection a scar. That scar makes you scared because you want to peel the skin off that scar because it is painful. So you have what is called a energy system that has the ability to re-imprint a specific pattern of behavior that restricts the body to change your thoughts and your beliefs in a way that would move you forward to accomplish the results. So in order for us to override and for you to override those hidden, unconscious beliefs and emotional experiences that you interact with every day that triggers a constant imprint. We call it a behavior. And this happens over and over every day. Instead of us, we know it's there. We could go further into it and we could go through this whole thing that I used to spend a lot of time on when I first started to assist people with identifying the mental and the emotional energy imprints and the energy blocks that is blocking their ability to heal. It's blocking your ability to achieve mental and emotional clarity. And I would spend hours and hours going over and we would talk about all of these negative habit patterns that people have unknowingly picked up over the years, and it is totally destroying their ability to be successful in life. And I would spend hours and hours talking to people about this. And they would never experience any type of success because those scars create scarcity. So that's the problem. This is the solution. Step number one, and step number one is always, when I started doing this, it really was totally different from what everybody else was doing. Because people say like imagination, people say like we talked about in the gamma brainwave registration, the gamma brainwave manifestation. Manifestation is just existing in the now. That's all it is. Manifestation is you don't create nothing. You're just align with it. Manifestation, you don't make nothing. Like you're already a millionaire. Like if you got a goal to be a millionaire, you don't go out and make $1 million. You're already a millionaire. You just align with the $1 million that you already got. If your goal is to lose, 50 pounds, you already lost 50 pounds. The goal is there's a version of you that's 50 pounds less than what you are right now. You just change the frequency that you're at and you just align with that one. That's all it is. So everything already exists. Nobody creates anything, really. All we do is we get on the journey that takes us to that destination. We change channels. And so your job and my job is for us to really, really think about this channel changing process. What is it? We call it manifestation. So manifestation means, number one, here's the 7 keys. Number one, close your eyes. I got to break down what that means. Number 2, see yourself doing. We got to break down what that means. Number 3, feel the emotion. We got to break down what that means. Number 4, become your identity. We got to break down what that means. Number 5, attach or know the core frequencies. We got to break down your core frequency. Know your core frequency. Number 5. Number 6, know your photon and your phonon. Number 7 is what I call spintronics, which is what I mentioned earlier, and that is cellular up regulation. Number 7, I call cell up. Let's break these down. Number 1, close your eyes. Now, close your eyes, you can do it physically. When I say close your eyes, that just simply means, as I've been telling you guys, it's not about the distractions or your inactions. It's about focus. So number 1, close your eyes. I recommend actually closing your eyes physically. So anytime you feel scarcity, anytime you feel scared, anytime you feel concerned, anytime you feel like you're losing, anytime you feel like something's bad about to happen, sit in the chair and physically close your eyes. What does that mean? That means that you're blocking out all distractions. That's all it is. Number 1, block out all distractions, whatever you got to do to block out all distractions. Now remember, whenever I'm driving my car, or I'm sitting here and a thought comes to my brain that says, damn, like I just recently did my taxes, and I'm looking at how much money I got to pay the IRS because I got to claim more income so I can qualify for more house. Because I could write it off. I got a bunch of write-offs, but I can't take all my write-offs this year. Because if I do, I ain't qualifying for no $800,000 house. Or $900,000, I only can qualify for a $200,000 or $300,000. So I got a choice. Don't claim all my deductions. Don't qualify for. So that creates a feeling. It's like, damn, I don't want to give out the IRS my money, but I do want to get this nice house. Shit, I already purchased it. They already started building on it. So what do? First thing that I do is I close my eyes. That means I block out my thoughts. I turn off the monkey mind. When I say turn off the monkey mind, it's not what the dominant culture says, which is to get rid of all your thoughts. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying do number 2. Close your eyes. See yourself doing blank. Number 2 is very important. This is what the dominant culture calls visualization. So I close my eyes and I see myself driving up in my Corvette into the driveway of my new home. So right now I'm closed. I got my eyes closed, and right now I can see in my mind's eye. How can I see and my eyes are closed? Now, how can you hear without your physical ears? For example, anybody read out loud? Anybody heard that? So number 1, close your eyes. Number 2, see yourself doing. So I just said it out loud. Now I can say it to myself. So I'm going to say the exact same thing to myself. I just said it to myself and I heard it, but I didn't move my mouth. How did I hear? Close your eyes. See yourself doing. That means I got spiritual ears because I just heard it. You can read silently, get a book, open it, and start reading it, but don't move your mouth. You can hear. How? You got. Come on, man. You got spiritual ears. You got spiritual eyes too, because I can see with my eyes closed, Dr. Martinette. I can close my eyes and I can see myself driving up into the driveway, getting out, and I got a, I don't have a key lock. I got a, key code. I can type in the code. Boop, the door unlocks, and I'm walking into my new house, and I'm looking up, and like, damn, like, wow. I can see it. So that's what you do to get rid of scarcity. You see success, whatever that definition for you. You see someone just going through hard times. Now, you can't save nobody. I try to do this with Shimura. But if someone wants to exit stage left, you don't want them to exit stage left. That ain't joke. You can't do that, boo-boo. You gotta do you. If you don't want to exit stage left, then you can visualize yourself staying on the stage. If you want to drop 50 pounds, you close your eyes and you see yourself ripped, whatever that means to you. You see yourself healthy. You see yourself wearing a size 2 instead of a size 10 or whatever it is. That, ladies, brothers, we see yourself, instead of wearing a 42, waist in your jeans, you got on some 30s. You got 32 in the waist. Instead of wearing, a 3X shirt, hell, you got to wear a large T-shirt now. See it. Number 1, you got to close your eyes. Block out all the distractions that says you can't have, bad shit's going to happen. It's very easy. You got to consciously do it, though. That's why I say you got to close your eyes. So when I pull over side the road, I close my eyes, take a deep breath. I see myself being wealthy. I can close my eyes right now. I can see myself logging into my PayPal account. And then as soon as you log into your PayPal account, I can see on the left where it says money in the account, or how much money came in, and it also says how much money that you spent that month. I can see 3, 5, 6, comma, 0, 0, 0 point. I can see $356,000 in my PayPal account. I can see it with my eye. I can see it. I can see it. So once you close your eyes, once you see it, now you got to go to number 3. Now you got to feel it. See, a lot of people, they don't feel it. See, I can feel what it feels like to go downstairs and start up my vet, jump in it. I can drive. I can see what it feels like. Before I bought it, Dr. Martinette, I could see it and I could feel it. I could feel the wind blowing through my imaginary fro. Because y'all know I ain't got no hair. But I can still see it, Dr. Martinette. Dr. Martinette, I need you to come up with a organic hair restoration kit. So I get my Michael Jackson fro back, Dr. Martinette. Can you help my brother out? Maybe you and Sister Addie can get together. Y'all got some holistic attributes and characteristics between you and Sister Addie. I know y'all can come up with something. Help a brother get his flow back. Okay, I'm just playing. But see, I can feel it, Sister Addie. I can feel it. Man, visualization is dangerous. Do y'all understand? Ooh, I've been doing this shit since I was 13. I just know what I was doing, Brother George. Now I'm a grown-ass man, Brother George. I do this shit on purpose. It ain't no accident. Sister Carolina, I do this on purpose, Sister Carolina. I close my eyes. I see myself doing whatever it is that I want to manifest, and I can feel it. I can feel myself swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. I can feel myself on the beach, on Waikiki Beach in freaking Hawaii. I can feel myself, driving down the streets in the Bahamas. I can feel myself in Grand Cayman on the beach looking at that clear blue sky, Sister Cheryl West. I can feel it. See, I can close my eyes. I can see myself doing wealth, health, wisdom, and great relationships, and I can feel what it feels like. Then I can do number 4. I can become how I identify myself, not how you see myself. Oh, man. Sister Cheryl, do you know that you become with and you become one with your identity? See, this is why, Sister Addie, I only identify myself with Source. See, not only do I identify with Source, I am the Source code. I am the code of Source. That's number 4. You see how it works? It's you can't be scared. You can't have scarcity. You can't have lack. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between fiction and reality. The brain just creates more drain of what you choose to not maintain. So whatever you maintain, the brain will drain anything that does not identify with what you maintain. That's why I saw purple, I saw black, I saw white and black. I see Corvettes now. Like, damn, everybody got a Corvette. Shit, I'm thinking about damn. Should I go get me a Bugatti? If I go get me a Rolls Royce Ghost, every nigga on the hood will have one. It's just crazy. The reticular activating system, I don't know if y'all know it, Father, touch the mind, will, emotion, the imagination, intelligence of your people. Number 1, close your eyes. Again, remember, you can do it physically, but this, I'm talking metaphysically. Close your eyes and you block out all the shit that ain't got nothing to do with your purpose. Number 2, see yourself doing blank. Number 3, feel the emotion. I need everybody to write this down. It feels like you put in the blank. Please, please. Just humor me, please. I need everybody to write down 4 sentences. It feels in that, write down the word wealth and then write down it. So when you close your eyes and you see yourself doing your wealth goal, for me, it's 1K a day. So when I see myself doing 1K a day, it feels like blank. How does it feel when I'm generating? What activities am I doing to generate $1,000 a day? What does it feel like when I'm doing that TikTok video that I just posted this morning? What does it feel like last night when I wrote a 60-page book in one night, and I posted on my Payloads account? Then I did a TikTok video this morning, and I took the 2 shows that we did. I did a show on, what day was that? I think that was on the 3rd and the 4th, where I was talking about CMEs, solar flare. I entitled the show, remember? My God, our God is a sun and a shield. Y'all remember those shows? I took those 2 shows, and then I made a little company. So what does that feel like? See, my eyes are closed, and I'm explaining to you guys what I saw, and then now I did it, and I posted it this morning. But how did I do it? How did I get my Corvette? I did the same thing. Anytime I feel scarcity, what I do? Produce. I do this. Anytime I'm like, damn, man, I feel, bam, I do. Anytime I feel off physically, bam. Mentally, relationship, bam. Money. So when it comes to wealth, health, wisdom, relationships, you should have 4 sentences. The sentence should say, it feels like this when I'm wealthy. It feels like this when I'm healthy. Now the word this should be a bunch of adjectives and adverbs in that mother beep. Don't put the word this, take that word out this. You should put in like magnanimous, stupendous, wonderful, my toes are freaking curled. Whatever it is that you're feeling, I feel high on a hog, I feel like a lizard on a hot rock on a roof in Texas in August. That's what you should write down. The more adjectives you can put in that freaking statement, the faster that shit shows up in your hands, man. So you can't be scared. You can't have scarcity. There's no such thing as poverty. Are you serious? Man, I'm excited for y'all. Because I'm giving y'all all my secrets. Because from now until February 22nd, ooh-wee, I think I'm going to start. I don't know if I should start it. What you guys think? Remember I told you guys I had, put on a bunch of weight I had a family member, that's obese. And, man, you don't know what it feels like, man. You always been, healthy and blah, blah. So you can speak on that, man. So now I'm obese, if you want to use that term. At least for me. And then I said that I was going to, take it all off. So I'm thinking about doing doing a group weight loss, or a group, how would I title it? And it's like a little community fitness thing. So, and remember, I'm doing it for low impact or no impact, basically sitting in the chair. How can you drop 30 pounds in 30 days with no impact, no running, no jumping, just all no and low impact. And of course, the nutritional aspects of it, which is putting the body in a state of what they call, autophagy, basically ketones. So if you guys are interested, I may do it and then, charge everybody to get access to, not only the exercise routines, but also the nutritional aspect. Charge everybody $50 or something and work out twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. But I'll just do a little short, TikTok video of the routines that we do. Because I do my daily 10. There's 10 exercises that I do that are really core, they're full body exercises, basically. Then we could film it, talk about it, and everybody kind of go through the process for the next 30 days. We ain't got to really meet every day, but just kind of once we do the first week or the first day, pretty much do the same thing every day, except there's a routine in the morning and then there's a routine in the evening. That's a little different. Why? Bam. You become how you identify yourself. Number 4. That leads us to number 5. Number 5 is your core frequency. So we got number 1. Remember, this is how you train your brain to overcome any emotional drain. This is how you train your brain to stop and to replace the scarcity energy imprint. Now, that scar is not going anywhere. That energy, that emotional scar that you have that's in your limbic system, we're going to override it. What does that mean? That means we're going to put a Band-Aid over it. It's almost like we're performing, surgery on the area where you had that scar at. And what we're doing is we're bringing in a new clay, new skin. And we're going to place the new skin over the old skin because the new skin is more powerful. It has, if you were to look at the skin on the human body, and if you look at the different layers of the skin on your body, you know that there's, I think it's the epidermis, and then there's the dermis. There's 3 or 4, if I remember my anatomy classes, layers of the skin. And if you go the top layer or the surface layer of the skin, that's where the scar is at. For some of you guys, the scar is actually down deeper into the I think it's the dermis or the second layer of the skin. And let's just say there's 3 layers. I forgot exactly how many. I want to say there's 3, maybe more. But if we look at the anatomy of the skin, we're looking at the anatomy of the energy that has been imprinted that left a scar. Like when you get burned. So first thing they do is they burn it, they scrape that area, and then it heals. So they scrape out the old skin so that it can heal. So what we're doing is that old skin has already healed. That scar is still there. So what we're doing is we're placing new skin that's going to actually go down into the 3rd layer and grow right over that negative habit pattern or that energy imprint. And what happens is it's going to replace over time that old design. So without even going in and trying to scrape off and causing you more pain by tearing off that scar tissue, it's just going to create more scar tissue. So what we're doing is almost like what the doctors do when they do a skin graft. So when the doctors do a skin graft to promote, skin healing, and again, I ain't gonna sit and go through all the details, but I know one of the things that they do, they kind of scrub that area and then they attach the new skin over that area so it can grow into that area. That's the same thing that we're doing, except we're not doing it with skin. We're doing it with energy. And so we're taking this energy by closing your eyes, seeing yourself doing blank. Feel the emotion of having blank. Make sure that you do number 4. You have the identity. You identify yourself as blank. Which leads us to number 5. You maintain the core frequency of blank. Now, the blank is your wealth goal, your health goal, your relationship goal, or your, which one is it? Wealth, health, wisdom goal. And you can do 4 or just do 1. I always tackle them one at a time. So now, when I say core frequency, what do I mean? All wealthy people have the same core frequency. They all do. People say different words, all this stuff. It's still the same. Everybody has a core frequency. Now, what we're doing is your core frequency must replace your memory frequency. Let me say that again. Your core frequency is a higher frequency. So the core frequency is going to replace the memory frequency. Now, they do the same thing like in computers and stuff. The GPU, like for graphics, all graphics and computers, they have what they call it. They call it a domain frequency. And they have a GPU or a CPU frequency. And the computer stores memory. That's you. So we're doing to you what they do to computers. Your core frequency is like your frequency that you was born with in your core before you had memories. So the memories that you have, some of them were not good. They were lack. So we're going to reset. It's like resetting your computer back to its original memory before you got the scar. It's like going back in time and erasing the scar. Ooh-wee. I don't know if y'all understand what I just said. Let me say it again. Your core frequency gives you way more control than your memories. Source code touch the mind of your people. I don't know if y'all got it. So your core frequency it's a higher frequency than memory. See, the higher frequency, lowest frequencies have to match the highest frequency. Your core, that's your design, that's God. Your core is like your source. So this is your source code frequency, or your code of source frequency. Number 5 is extremely important. There are 9 core frequencies. They call light path numbers. So you have to re-identify with your core frequency because it's more powerful than your memories. See, your memories are like berries that you come down here and pick with a basket called your core. Damn, that's some good shit right there. Let me say it again. I like that so much, Dr. Martinet, I got to say it to myself. See, sometimes I forget. So let me make sure you understand. You got memories. You think you are your memories. You're not, boo-boo. You have memories. You are not memories. Damn. So all of your negative habit patterns were developed alongside your core. So it's either your core or your memories. Right now, you got memories. Some of them were not good. Remember, I'm telling you guys, I would be buried. I would be still in the hood if I could not get over what happened to me when I was raised. Like, y'all remember that series, the Cult of Light, that, low budget man, that the acting, it was terrible. I had to, muscle through that one. But the message was powerful. Feria, the Cult of Light. Because those were all my original beliefs. Except for opening the 5th veil and letting Yabato in. Which is what they did in the movie. Because why? That's a memory. That's not a core frequency. A core frequency is number 5. When you do number 5, that activates number 6. 5 and 6 are really the same. What is 6? 6 is you are a photon that is expressing yourself or that manipulates the photon with a phonon. Brothers and sisters, you are a receptive and a transmitter of photons and phonons. So let's go to the mind of your people. Let me say it again. In order for you to override all negative habit patterns, you go back to before the negative habit pattern existed. Before you was born, or before you got molested, before you got fired, before your girl cheated on you, before you cheated on your girl, before you got divorced, before whatever, before your mate died, before your daughter died, or your son died, before you got old, before you had an accident, before whatever negative thing happened to you, you existed as a photon that used a phonon to establish what is called a picture or a pixel or a particle. So you are a particle. Now remember what we said at the beginning of the show. Tonight we got a dangerous show tonight. Whew. Tonight we got to break down the world that we live in is a wave. We call it electrical magnetic spectrum. There's what, let's say for example, there's 100 waves. You can only see one of them according to the electrical magnetic spectrum. Now, did you understand? There are 100 waves. They drop down into a form that we call light. Now there's 100 light beams. These 100 light beams, they need hate to eat. If there is peace, they die. These 100 light beings, you are creating more of them because you have the same power as God. You are a spiritual antenna of the Creator. You are a particle that used to be a phonon, sound, and a photon, light. So you are a phonon, photon, plasmonic or plasma being. When you take this light and sound, it creates plasma. These are beings. These beings are created by thought. That's why I only have thoughts of peace. So I'm not food. So the reptilians can eat. That's why I don't have no reptilian activity around me. That's why I don't see little green men, ghosts and goblins, all the bad shit that you people read about, UFOs, none of that shit happens to me. Because I maintain remember, they die. Just like in the movie, this shit was in the movie. Not just watched. Yabato, Sabato, all of these low vibrational entities on this planet, these reptilians, these Dracos, they cannot feed, they need adrenochrome. They need blood mixed with fear. They cannot eat. They starve in an environment of love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control. They starve. They cannot exist in an environment, just like disease cannot exist in an alkaline body. Demons cannot exist in an environment of love, joy, peace, and gentleness. That's why I do not have the luxury of a negative thought. This is called cellular regulation. Number 7. You are a particle that used to be a wave that drops down to form a light sound being, is part of the electrical magnetic spectrum. Unfortunately, the average Alkebulan cannot wrap the brain around the fact everybody else is forming them too. And they was here before you got here, they'll be here when you're gone. When you leave here, you go back to being one of them. You are either going to be predator or prey. You're going to either be light or dark. You're going to go back to being a wave. Right now, you're a particle. When you drop this 3D reality, you go back to being a wave. Right now, my daughter Shamora is a wave. She used to be a particle. But she got out of photons and phonons, and she did what I call cellular up-regulation. You get out of your cell, and you regulate up. We call that salvation. The dominant culture calls that shit ascension. Negro call it whatever you want to call it. How you call it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, this is called spintronics. That's what I call it. Number 7 is when you, because you've closed your eyes, you see yourself being and doing and having wealth, health, wisdom, and getting your toes curled. You feel wealthy, healthy, wise, and in great relationships. You have an identity of a wealthy man, a healthy man, a wise man, and a man in great relationship with himself and with his God and with others. You now are a particle because you have a sound that creates a spark or a photon. So now you are a photon, plasma being. Now, since you are a 6, this is number 6. I'm sorry, I left out number 5. Number 5 is you are the way that you became the sound, because the sound that you are using is the sound of your core. This is your core frequency. Mine is a 6. So I can't use the sound of a 7. I like 7s. I think 7s are awesome. But I can't use the sound of intelligence. I got to use the sound of compassion. I cannot use the sound of free spirit of a 5. I ain't a 5. I can't use the sound of stability because I'm not a 4. I can't use the sound of creativity because I'm not a 3. I can't use the sound of psychic intuitiveness because I'm not a 2. I cannot use the sound of leadership and independence because I'm not a 1. I can't use the sound of the executive and making good decisions because I'm not an 8. I can't use the sound of humanity and royalty and God, it's our godhood, because I'm not a 9. I'm a 6. So I use the sound of the frequency of compassion, which means lover of details. You can't have love unless you know the details of what you love. So that's my core. So when I operate my core, that's how I can be more. You cannot override your negative habit pattern unless you connect back with your core. You cannot have more unless you connect with your core. Everybody's doing all this other shit. You will not be able to fight your way out of a wet paper bag unless you are authentic. Everybody's fake. Not you. God fear not, keep it honest. Please excuse my amplification. Because Dr. Martinet, I'm excited, Dr. Martinet, because that's the only way we learn, is when we're in a state of excitement. So yes, Sister Carolina, I'm amped up. But I'm always amped up, Sister Carolina. Because you are either predator or prey. Homie don't do prey. I used to, but I know more. So my brothers and my sisters, make sure that you do not forget number 4, though. Because, see, if you do not see yourself, if I don't see myself as a 6, if I start getting enamored with, the 3, because I'm a 3-3-6, those 3s make up 6. So I got to be very cautious and aware that I do not become a lesser deity. If you are a 1-7-8, you got to be careful of becoming a 1 because you are, and a 7 because you are an 8. You got to make sure that your role, 1 and 7, takes you to your goal, 8. You love the role more than the goal, but let's not keep it twisted. We want to win the race. Source said, nobody runs a race unless they want to win. So you got to run the race like somebody who wants to win. That means you love the goal. I love 3-3. That's why I do it. I'm a creative creator. I love creatively creating. What's the payoff, though, of my creative? What's the payoff of my creativity? Compassion. If you're 1-7, what's the payoff of you being an independent intellectual? You make good decisions. If you're a 2-2, what is the payoff for you being a peaceful, psychic? You have stability. So the first 2 numbers is the role. The last number is the payoff or the goal. We are not in it for the goal. We're in it for the role. Because if you do the role, you are guaranteed to get the goal. It's crazy. You can't focus on the goal because you won't get it. But you want to get the goal. Like, I can't just focus on making $1,000 a day. I can't just focus on $365,000. I can just sit here and just say, ooh, I'm just 300. I can close my eyes. I can see myself making $365,000. I can feel the emotion of it. I can identify with it. I can operate with the core frequency of it. I can drop down from a wave into a phonon, particle, plasma being. I can do cell up transmission and regulation. But I'm doing all of that for the end game. It's crazy. You have to detach from the end game or you will come up lame. So source code built the system so that way you cannot suffer from destination addiction. So source code is smarter than us. Remember, this took me 50 years to figure out. This was a smoking gun for me, Dr. Martinette, because I was always leaving where I was at, Brother George. So no matter what woman I had, I was leaving her to go to another one. No matter what job I had, no matter what they paid, Sister Carolina, I wanted to get another one. No matter how much, I've had over 30, 40 cars, at least 10, 15 houses. No matter what I had, it was never enough, Dr. Span. I was always going and going. I was the Energizer Bunny. Why? Because no matter what I got, it was never enough, Brother George, because I had destination addiction. That's why source code set up the system. For you align your mind with your design, because your design is the journey. It is not about the money, it's about the journey. But the journey gets you the money. Oh, man. Brothers and sisters, what we just talked about today, like all these shows, they all are important. Each one is a brick in this nice building that we call heaven, which is a source code way of thinking. The government shall be upon his shoulders. I just gave you a big brick, but it's just a brick to put inside of this beautiful brick wall, that this staircase, if you will, that we are building, or this house that we are establishing, or whatever analogy that you want to use. Make sure, brothers and sisters, that as we do these shows and you listen so that way you can make adjustments to how you are feeling in your day-to-day operation. If you are not making adjustments to how you are feeling, you will not be able to override and overcome previous programming. The way that I override previous programming is I never stop learning, Brother George. Brother George, if I had to stop learning when I researched Gnostic Sethism, and I started studying about Seth, and I got into Yabato and Sabato, and I told you guys, and I did a series and wrote a book called Abracus, and y'all got it. Abracus is that two-headed god that's very similar to Janus. And Abracus, along with Sabato, is really the foundation or the driving force of individuality. Some believe that Abracus is the supreme deity and the source of all divine emanations. A lot of people believe that Abracus is the ruler of all of the heavens, or the circle of creation, which is similar to my life optimization circle. It's also similar to the 365 days of the year. It's very, very similar to the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues. When we look at the word Abracus, and we look at some of the biblical words like Jehovah, or we look at the word Lord and God, all of these words have an underlying meaning of chief magistrate or archon. I talk a lot about the archons. I've studied every major religion in the world. And when I came across the Gnostics and Gnosticism, it means those who have knowledge. And I was drawn to that, Brother George. I spent 20 plus years studying the cosmos and the underworld and the 12 angels that control the cosmos, or the underworld. And the 12 angels, there's 12 below and 12 above. And Yalbato and Salbato, which again, these are names inside of your Bible for the English word Lord. Again, we already did all of this study. We researched all of this. And I'm telling you the difference between me and every other guru that I know. Every other person I talked to and I know, they got to a point of studying and they became a Moor. They found out about what happened to the black man and that we were the original people and everything comes out of, I think it's West Africa. And they studied about the Gigi and they studied about blah, 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 and how the original, they came from somewhere. There was something here. They introduced their genes into that gene. And every president of the United States is a descendant of John Locke. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that story? John Locke? Where we get Robin Hood and all of them? Every president in the United States is a blood descendant. And that dude is a blood descendant of one of these Anunnakis. What's the point, Doc? If you stop studying, you lose. Because this is a multi-level devil. This mother bee got so many layers. It's a serpent swallowing its own tail. It's a dragon or it's a Draco. It is a drain. Your job is just to overstand the lux or the light by living your life. It's not about the light. It's about life. Every cult, every religion says that your life is worthless. You well done, you ain't shit. Nothing gonna happen until you die. That's the trick. What's the trick? The trick is you're so rich and you got so much money, you're trying to do everything to figure out to save your life and extend your life. Enter the Rockefellers, enter the 13 families. They are trying to figure out how to live forever. They use technology to try to figure out how to live longer. If you are Podunk, Texas, and you're poverty, you trying to die so you can go to heaven to get your reward. So we got one cult, which is a cult that wants you to die. You got another cult that wants you to live. The goal is, bam, balance. While you're here, you're here. You worry about the other side when you get over there. People on the other side, they worry about this side, and people on this side worry about the other side. Boo-boo, do you. If you're in a dirt suit, you do dirt suit shit. You don't be studying about fools who are not in no dirt suit. You don't be trying to conjure up no non-dirt suit entities. You ain't trying to research and study no non. People spend time studying shit that dang is out their side they pay grades. Everybody transition. You ain't supposed to stay in your dirt suit forever. So why are there people trying to figure out how to stay in your dirt suit forever? You're supposed to get a glorified dirt suit. And it's going to be a light suit. But it's going to be a crystalline suit. It's going to be made up of waves that create and drop down into what we call photons and phonons. Brothers and sisters, make sure you don't fall for the trick. What is the trick? Get you to want to leave or get you to want to stay. You see, the devil's smooth. Two sides, two wings, but it's the same bird. So I don't care what wing you own, both wings are attached to the same bird. Make sure that you oscillate and vibrate with a mental disposition where you train your own brain based upon your core frequency. How do you do that? Number one, close your eyes. Number two, see yourself being and doing what you are designed. Number three, feel the emotion of being and doing what you're designed. Number four, make sure that your identity Your self-image is based upon your design. Number 5, make sure that your core frequency is in line with your design. Number 6, make sure that you have a picture and a sound that allows you to be able to send and receive frequencies based upon your design. Number 7, make sure your cells are regulated up according to your design. Brothers and sisters, everything is based upon your design. When you understand your design, you're guaranteed to shine. This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. I'm at the top grinding and shining. Y'all already know. I love you and there ain't nothing you can do about it. We're going to see you at the top. God bless.